You're not going to let me go first, do you?
Yeah, because I don't want to make a cup of tea. What happened to your charger?
Actually.
Look here.
Yes, it's for crack.
Boys again. Leave it here. Drink.
I wonder if anyone comes on. I was supposed to find that book, Athelstan, wouldn't I?
Haven't I lost it?
No, it's about somewhere. I've got it in a bag somewhere. Oh. Hello, who's there? Well, I've got some news on Bill Barr. Bill Barr is leaving just before Christmas. It's been announced. Oh, someone's gone. Come and gone. Is that just you there, Welsh Woody? Do me one me and with lemon juice. Who's there? Bill Barr's on his way out. I should imagine he'll be gone by Monday because the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, will be making an announcement whether there was foreign interference or not. So that'd be on a Friday. So Bill Barr will go home that day, and there won't be much done Saturday and Sunday. And I'd imagine that'd be the 19th, that'd be the 21st. So Bill Barr will be gone by then. And they've got the Rosen, I think he is. He's the Deputy Attorney General. He's coming to stand in. So we've got that. Hello, who's that there then? You've got two of us in there. Oh, okay, right. Dan's ringing me. He's got stuff on Dr. Steve Turley. So we'll hear what he's got to say. Right, you're on loudspeaker. People can hear you.
Right, okay. So Steve Turley explains it basically the same as Giuliani, right? So the GOP sent their electors in
Georgia and Nevada.
Yeah, and Pennsylvania.
Oh, in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and basically what they do is they put in what they call a procedural vote, right? So the Democrat college vote, they elected people put in their vote to appoint their collegiate vote, right? And
it's not collegiate; it's electoral college.
Electoral college. Well, sometimes they call it.
No, that sounds very Roman.
Sorry?
That sounds very Roman.
Well, they do sometimes.
It's the electoral college.
Yes, I know, but they sometimes call it the collegiate vote.
Oh, I'm not okay. That. Go on.
So, same thing. So basically, and so apparently this happened before in the past with I forgot who.
Abraham Lincoln?
No. It was more recent.
Nixon?
No, I can't remember. I can't keep things in my head. But anyway, it's happened in the past. And the reason why they do this is in case the vote gets overturned through some of their legal actions in between now and January the 20th. So what could happen is that one of their court actions could be successful. They could change the vote in that state, and because they've already cast their electoral vote procedurally, what it means is that if that vote gets turned over, the vote for their college vote counts and not the other one. So that's the basic thing. So they put it in now. This is basically what you...
Right, listen. Stop the noise out there. Athelstan, go to bed now. Right, go on.
That's exactly what Rudy Giuliani said, yeah? But Steve Turley explains it, because he's very good at explaining things really simply and clearly. So Steve Turley, he's the one If you really want to understand that, you go and see Dr.
Right, okay,
Steve Turley.
we'll all have a look at Dr. Steve Turley then. Do you think it makes it uncertifiable now, though, really, in plain English?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it uncertifiable. All it does is it keeps the whole thing...
ticking over?
Yeah, it keeps the whole thing, like, in the sense that it's still open to question, the election's still being contested legally. It can be contested all the way up to January the 20th.
And so is it certifiable? If it's not uncertifiable, is it been certifiable? Because the news are telling us that Joe Biden's got the certification.
Well, no, each state, if they've certified their vote, then they pick their college. So that state must have certified their vote already. That was supposed to have happened a few days ago. So if they certified their vote, I think we're beyond that now. Because
Today was the deadline, wasn't it, for certifying?
Yeah, no, because remember they're called safe harbour. Safe harbour is after they've certified their vote.
Right. So is this Safe Harbour Day then?
Oh yeah, safe harbour passed last week. I think it was last.
What is this certification day then?
No, this is appointing the college voters.
Right. Okay.
And then now the states are appointing their college voters.
So these are all the safety guards, really. That this republic, which has a democratic safety valves via its constitution, so no one can cheat it, basically.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah.
I mean, they've done a bloody good job at corrupting all the different officials on all the different levels, but it looks like they're starting to come undone a little bit now.
Yeah, well, but this can be fought all the way.
Yeah.
Fought all the way, and Trump is going to fight this all the way. And as Steve Bannon said, we've only just begun to fight.
John Paul Jones.
Exactly.
I'll tell them the story about John Paul Jones for those that don't know.
And so it's not just Trump's team. There's the Thomas Paine Society. They're doing
the Thomas More Society, you mean?
Thomas More Society. They're doing stuff. There's a lot going on, and this will be fought. And there is no way. I mean, what did Steve Bannon said that if because of Joe Biden's connections with China, if he had to do a background check to get clearance for security,
he wouldn't get no clearance. Well, Harold Wilson never got clearance with MI5 or MI6 in this country.
If he was someone they didn't know coming in for a job in the CIA or the FBI
they'd have him up in handcuffs just for asking for the job.
They would not give him the most.
Well, they'd have him up in handcuffs for having the audacity to try and get the job.
Yeah, he wouldn't get the
But let's go back. Harold Wilson, I don't think he was trusted by MI5 and MI6. I don't think he passed. He couldn't be trusted. He was a British Prime Minister.
Yeah, well, they thought he was a communist spy, didn't they?
Well, he probably was. He's silly pipe.
They thought he was working for the Russians.
Yeah, he's silly pipe.
Yeah, he probably was. So, but anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's
all right.
Seems to be where we are.
All right then, thanks.
All right, okay.
Well, thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.
Right, did you hear that? Oh, well, we're all in here. Right, so what we got here, we've only got 2 of you on. I've got 3 of you here. Are you still here, Chemical Liquor? Did you all? Right, well, basically, Bill Barr's gone, but I think he'll be gone by Monday. He said Trump said he's going to be hanging around till just before Christmas. But I think a lot of it's got to do with the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe. He makes his announcement on Friday, the 18th, which is 45 days after the general election on the 3rd of November, whether there was or whether there wasn't foreign interference. Oh, you're still there. So I think we all accept that there was foreign interference, but it has to be officially said. I mean, he can get him to come in early, but being as Bill Barr's hanging around a bit longer, I reckon now Trump would just let John Ratcliffe announce it on Friday. He can't do it he has to do it on the 45th day or before. And I think the 45th day is the 18th of December on Friday. So at that point, he can invoke martial law with the executive order of martial law on the foreign. Well, it's called the foreign interference of executive order. So that's what we could have we could have it on Saturday, but really he'd probably do it on Monday, wouldn't he, if he's going to do it? I don't know if he is going to do it. Yeah. So that's that story. We've had. I've explained it to Welsh Woody what happened. You won't believe it, but the police at Michigan's governor's house surrounded it, armed police, to stop the state legislators getting in to also vote for Trump. To do, I don't know. I still don't understand it. What it does, it basically it means that they're opposing the certification of Biden, and that they was all going to vote for Trump. They've done it in Nevada. They've done it in Georgia. Now Dan's telling me that Dr. Steve Turley said they've done it in Pennsylvania as well. And the state governor of Michigan surrounded the building with armed police and wouldn't let the state GOP legislators get in the building, so they couldn't vote for Trump. That's all happened today, which is now yesterday. It's 12:39. So that's all the stuff that's happened all over the place. And if you add all them votes up, Trump's already overturned it. But it's not like that. It's a bit more complicated. I don't understand it myself, actually. But it leaves it open for it to be questioned. I think it'll be on the 6th of January when it all goes in front of Congress. And people can then oppose in particular states if anyone speaks out about a particular state. And it's obvious now there are going to be people speaking out. And then it all goes to Congress and Congress decides it all. So yeah, it's a mess. What Trump said, it was a mess. This is what happens when you let computers count your votes and have after the date of the election postal votes, or any postal votes really, and which have dead people on it, names of dogs and cats, and people voting after November the 3rd so they can stuff the ballots, and people that haven't signed it. It just goes on and on. They just fill them in themselves. Yeah, so what it means now, that in the future, just think what it means throughout the free world. Nobody ever will allow computers. It's all going to have to be counted by hand. So this way it's going to make it so much difficult. Yeah, but technology can also be corrupted. If any of you have seen some of them state meetings, open meetings they've had, when they got the computer experts in, they just said it's so easy to open the back of the computer up and do something. So yeah, we will have votes now where we can literally vote anyone we want in now. It's going to be a lot easier to break the monopoly. Yeah. Oh, it's worse than that even. Now, I've got some... Hey, Liv, do you want to put these newspaper cuttings? We've got loads of stuff that I wanted to do last night on the Chinese Communist Party. You will not believe it. I mean, it's been in the news today, but we knew about it yesterday. When I say today, I mean Monday. We knew about it Sunday. It was going to break today. Ian Duncan Smith is one of the main guys that's been exposing all this. Yeah. Alif, can you get me on the newspaper cuttings? So we got... Yeah, it's just unbelievable. I mean, thanks for all coming on. We're all the people that can't sleep all the time. So what we got here, we've got window.
Oops, ignore that.
I don't know if you should put the picture up. I think people said it interfered with the last stream.
No, it didn't.
It was things weren't being read properly.
Which one do you want first?
Yeah, put Ian Duncan Smith up first.
Yeah.
Right. Right, so what we've got here. Yeah, but I've got another channel with Patriotic Twins UK. I don't know if you got the. Oh, you must have got the link, Chemical Liquor. And it's because the double link. Did you put some out for me today, Welsh Blonde Girl? Because I sent you a double link, didn't I? I've got 2 new channels with Patriotic Twins UK. I've got another channel called Patriotic Twins, and in about 2 or 3 days, that's got about 80 or 90 subscribers. I should be able to go live on that one. It's got a lot more subscribers. But it's not Patriotic Twins UK, it's just called Patriotic Twins. But, I mean, how many Patriotic Twins UK? I was going to do this channel today. What was I going to call it, Carrie? YouTube, if you strike me down, I will come back more powerful than you could ever imagine. It's like something out of Star Wars. Thank you. Right, so we've got Ian Duncan Smith with hopeless naivety. Big business and universities have failed to understand that China is out to destroy our way of life. Now, when you think of Ian Duncan Smith, right, you've got to remember he is part Japanese. I don't know how much. He's not very much. He's probably like about a quarter or an eighth or something. He's got some Japanese blood in him, right? But this means he will never, ever take the knee to the Chinese or the Chinese, daft, Jamie, or the Chinese Communist Party, right? So Ian Duncan Smith, for me, I would have him get rid of Boris and get him in as Prime Minister because he is a real tough Brexiteer. He's a real good Brexiteer. There are some good Tories. Don't tell Nobby I said that because... don't tell Nobby. I mean, but there are actually some good Tories and, and Ian Duncan Smith is a tough nut. And, I can tell you now, Nigel Farage would be well pleased with Ian Duncan Smith. Yeah, I'll take on YouTube. I mean, because what'll happen is people go, oh my God, this guy's taking on YouTube, right? And he keeps getting his channels taken down. And people say, well, I'll subscribe to him, I'll subscribe. And it actually will make me more powerful because we mustn't bend the knee to these people. So many people say, oh, I better not say this because I might lose my channel. What people are not realising is YouTube's finished. When Trump gets back in, he's going to take their 230, what's it called, Jesus? 230 certification so they can't be sued. They're going to be sued to fuck when Trump gets in. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, because they've been treating people like shit. And everybody in America is going to sue them, and he'd probably allow them to backdate it, and that will bankrupt them. Yeah, he's all right, Welsh Woody. Any Welsh Blonde Girl. Oh, Nobby's all right, mate. Don't you worry about that. Oh, he's having a great time. That gives you a little clue, Welsh Woody. Right, joining the ranks of the Chinese Communist Party is quite unlike signing up for a political party here or in any other democracy. I don't know, the Democratic Party and the Labour Party take some beating. It might seem closer to joining a crime family in the New York Mafia. Well, fucking hell, that's the Democrat Party. Members have to swear overriding loyalty to one party that ruled in China since the 1940s. They must pledge to guard party secrets, to fight for communism throughout my life, and to be ready at all times to sacrifice my all for the party. The oath is for life and sworn in the presence of party officials. Swift, harsh punishment would result should they ever dare to break it. Belonging to the party is no mere formality. The CCP demands secrecy, cunning and utter ruthless discipline from its millions of members. Notoriously secretive, its authority is absolute. Right, joining the rank. I'm laughing at Welsh Blonde Girl's response to Nobby. Joining the ranks of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is quite unlike... Oh, we've had all that. Members are routinely schooled in the beliefs, tenets... Are you not getting this picture? Oh, fucking... There we go. Oh, yeah, right. Members are routinely schooled in the beliefs, tenets and principles of Chinese Communist thought. Democracy and freedom are such existential threats, for example, that violence and oppression are necessary to quash them. Western nations such as the UK are locked in mortal conflict with China and must be defeated. It is a party whose beliefs about religious minorities remind us of the racist policies of the worst dictators of the 20th century. The CCP sees nothing wrong with rounding up Uyghur Muslims, placing them on trains and carting them to re-education camps, i.e. concentration camps, where women can be sterilised and the men put to forced work. Can we also mention that they do organ harvesting as well? What do you reckon on that, Jesus? I think that's a little minor detail that the Chinese Communist Party should be exposed for. A little bit of organ harvesting. Right, someone's put a boot on President Xi's boat race. Each and every member has subscribed to all of this and more. Harvesting organs, here we go, from religious minorities, locking up lawyers, crushing the spirit of its own people. There is little room for deviation in political thought in Xi Jinping's Chinese Communist Party. It is a party whose beliefs about religious minorities remind us of the racist policies of the worst dictators of the 20th century. The Chinese Communist Party sees nothing wrong with rounding up the Uyghur Muslims, placing them on trains and carrying them to re-education camps where women can be sterilised and the men put to forced work. Above a protest in Mumbai, India. It would be bad enough were these individuals confined to China, where they have a vice-like grip on political power. However, the Mail on Sunday's investigation shows that CCP influence is spreading around the globe. Yes, the social credit scores, red, yellow and green. My children had it in the school and I pulled up the headmaster about it, telling him that this was the CCP's policy and you're bringing it into my school to teach my children the Chinese Communist Party of credit scores with red, yellow and green cards. I caused murders over it, and that was like over 2 years ago. I saw this coming. I got it from Paul Joseph Watson. After those 4 days you mentioned the other week, I bet he was fucked. So so when they have a vice-like group, however, and even our own diplomatic, some of the world's most important. Let's go back to it. However, the Mail on Sunday's investigation shows the CCP influence is spreading around the globe, with members working for some of the world's most important multinational corporations, academic institutions, and even our own diplomatic services. Much of their spread into the UK took place under the so-called Golden Era, or Project Kowtow, as I prefer to call it. The UK welcomed China, believing wrongly that China would open up its economy and that Chinese investment would bring welcome growth, investment and prosperity to the UK. It is hardly surprising then that the City of London, what does that say? BOMOF Standard Chartered KPMG and Ernst Young each hired several hundred CCP members across several branches in China. They're everywhere. They're completely and utterly everywhere throughout London. I've been trying to find it, but the Daily Telegraph's got it today, but we're not signed up to it and I'm not prepared to pay for it. So we couldn't get all the information, but it's all in the Daily Telegraph on Monday. So, but this was, we got Sunday's paper here. The story's busted open on Monday, but it was already coming out. Ian Duncan Smith let it out as well on his Twitter and everything. But the real guy who's let it out, I'm going to let you into a secret now, it's a secret for most of us lot, but it's Steve Bannon. All those Chinese videos I got where they were exposing Hunter Biden. I remember you saw him, Welsh Woody, and you kept saying, how's this bloke still alive? He's still alive because he's in America. And he's being funded by this, they're all being funded by this billionaire Chinaman who's on the run from the Chinese Communist Party, and they want to kill him so much it's unbelievable. So Steve Bannon has joined up with him. And if you see any of these Chinese videos, I've got links to them all on YouTube. Me and Dan's got links to them, right? And they're all partnered with Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon in his war rooms, yeah, but the war room is actually linked to these Chinese dissidents and this Chinese billionaire who's funding it all for Steve Bannon, and they're called the Federal Republic of China. So they're actually, that's why he keeps saying, bring down the Chinese Communist Party. Steve Bannon has declared war on the Chinese Communist Party with this Chinese billionaire, and that's what's funding the war rooms. It's funding all those videos that we're getting. We're exposed David Cameron, his wife, and David Cameron's mother-in-law, and it was either his brother or her brother that were the bad people for him, and Boris Johnson might be involved as well. So Steve Bannon's, he's literally the master of all this, and the Chinese guy, I forget his name now, he's the money bags behind it, and the people making them videos, they represent the Chinese Republic, the Federal Republic, I think they're going to call it, and they're all Christians and things like that, and they want to bring down communism, and they're all nice people, because Chinese people are no different from anyone else. It's the bloody Chinese Communist Party that's got to be taken down. And I think that once Trump gets in, and they've got to deal with Trump on an even playing field like they did before the pandemic, before the virus came out, they couldn't cope. They would just crumble, and then it's going to come down really quickly. Chinese Communist Party is going to come down really quickly once Trump gets in. Unless they want to release another virus. Some people are saying the next virus will be a proper virus, mate. It'll be a proper one. But at that point, Trump will retaliate, won't it? And it'll be a war. And they can't win that either. So that's basically, I've let you all into now knowing that Steve Bannon is not just there fighting for Trump. He's there at the tip of the spear, destroying the Chinese Communist Party. You mean the two Canadian journalists? They're basically, Canada had to put an arrest warrant out for that woman who was one of the top people in Huawei. And so in reprisals, the Chinese Communist Party arrested two Canadians because Trump had a treaty with Canada. If you asked them for someone, they had to, by law, do it. So China but I don't know anything about any American journalist. Yeah, but it's not going to happen if Trump gets in, is it, Chemical Liquor? Because Trump's going to tell us everything about it. He's playing a real dangerous game with the vaccine. He made the vaccine to take it away from Bill Gates in America, though Bill Gates is still making his own vaccine, but he never let him monopolise the vaccine in America. But, I don't believe for a second Trump's going to allow that vaccine to go out. Yeah, they're all over the place. They're everywhere. They're working for everywhere. It's not just in London. They're all over America, Canada, Australia, everywhere throughout the European Union. They are everywhere. They've put them. This is the exposure. Dan's got a list. The list is so long. It's like 1 million fucking. It's unbelievable. And it's them people. The Federal Republic of China has released it all, which means Steve Bannon's released it all. Steve Bannon is the tip of the spear in all of this stuff against the Chinese Communist Party. So you lot have been let into this. I don't know how much you know about it, Chemical Liquor. I mean, you're usually pretty quick off the mark, but this is basically what it is. When you see those Chinese videos that we put up, they're all linked to Steve Bannon and this Chinese dissident guy who's a multi-billionaire. I think you might see him when the War Room starts, and when it goes to the adverts, it comes back. You might see this guy standing there. I think it's him. He's the billionaire. I forget. He's Anglified. He's got a Chinese name, but he's also got an English name as well. Well, I don't think they release it really, Welsh Woody. They understand. They understand the power of America. And it's not only America. You've got to understand Russia's on America's side as well. So they're a landlocked country. There's a little bit of slip where they can get out through Tajikistan and Tajikistan and Kazakhstan. I'm not sure if it can get out through Kazakhstan. I think it still might be half controlled by Russia. But there's a little thin strip between Kazakhstan and India where they can slip through. But it's not happening, mate. It's been smashed. And that is the Silk Road. The belt and what do they call it? The belt and braces or whatever I call it. It's not happening. It's been destroyed. They're landlocked. They're fucked. They are fucked. All they got left now is a Democratic Party and Justin Trudeau in Canada. Of course, they've got the European Union, but they're falling apart. So, they're in trouble, mate. They're locked. There's 1.4 billion of them, and they can't expand. So their life standards are going to get worse and worse and worse because there's too many of them, and they can't expand. If they invade any of their neighbours, America's there on them, and all their neighbours hate China. Right, so, however, the Mail and Sun's investigation that CCP influence is spreading around the globe, with members working for some of the world's most important multinational corporations, academic institutions, and even our own diplomatics. They're in our diplomatic services. They're everywhere in the City of London. They're working for Rolls-Royce. They're working for all our companies that have military contracts. You name it, they're in there. Much because they've got a high IQ, the Chinese. They've all done well in all our universities. Much of their spread into the UK took place under the so-called golden... Oh, yeah. Well, I bet that's fucking David Cameron. Growth, investment and prosperity to the UK. It is hardly surprising that the City of London... I've read all this, haven't I? And it's even less surprising that HSBC, where I do my banking, tops the shameful league table of companies willing to comply with the Chinese Communist Party. What's it called? Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation. HSBC likes to criticise Brexit for its perceived small-mindedness, with adverts telling the UK we are not an island. Fucking hell, maybe I have to get out of that bank. Its own behaviour speaks volumes, however. Last week it rushed to freeze the bank accounts of exiled Hong Kong lawmaker Ted Hui. Earlier in the summer, it issued statements of denouncing the democracy protests. Yeah, clever without wisdom, or without common sense, or without experience. Yeah. Now we learn that it apparently once employed more than 300 members of the very party that is orchestrating the draconian crackdown in Hong Kong. Time and again, HSBC has proved itself to be Beijing's favourite bank. None of this would be remarkable in a Chinese institution, but for a British bank regulated and headquartered here in London, in the Isle of Dogs there, can you see it? It's in the Isle of Dogs. In the East End, which is the second city of London we've got two banking institutions in London. We've got the city and we've got the Isle of Dogs, which is the new city. It is inexcusable. The conduct of HSBC and other UK financial institutions is not just wrong, but immoral. Right. We can only hope that this leak confirms the truth that is beginning to dawn on businesses around the world operating in China, carrying an inbuilt ethical and reputational risk. We already know that household brands have been linked with slave labour from Uyghur prison camps, detainees in the Xinjiang region. Mounting evidence links the party to state-sponsored concentration camps and genocide against Uyghur minorities. It don't matter that they're Muslims. It's just wrong. It's wrong. You don't treat people like that. So when will rich multinational firms decide it is no longer worth the damage to their brand? So see what Steve Bannon's doing. He's pushing the Chinese back all over the world. He has leaked this with his Federal Republic of China Democratic Party that's linked to him, that's linked to this billionaire Chinese man, and they're all in America. The whole lot of them in America, and they've got YouTube channels, and it's all about bringing down the CCP. So that they Rolls Royce are involved in it. Fucking hell! The threat is not just to their corporate image, by the way, to our moral standing as a nation. It is a threat to our security. Companies such as Boeing, Airbus, Fowles, you know what? I'll tell you who's linked to fucking Fowles. Emma Arbuthnot's husband, Lord Arbuthnot. So here it is, Lord Arbuthnot, Emma Arbuthnot. Are you listening, Amy? I found out, this is the first time I've read this, and I remember that name, Fowles. It rings a bell. If Amy, someone can get a message to based Amy, Welsh blonde girl, that Fowles is linked to the Chinese Communist Party as operative working in there, and Lord Arbuthnot is linked to that party. So I think Amy needs to know about that. Me and Amy don't really talk that much nowadays. I mean, if we bump into each other in the street, we'd be perfectly amicable. Yeah, I still like Amy a lot. We ain't spoke since all you lot give her an hard time. I think Steve gave her a hard time, or was it Sentinel, when she came in my room. She didn't like it, that she got criticised, and I wouldn't do nothing about it. I told her it's a free speech room, and we haven't really spoke since. They make some of our most advanced weaponry and are trusted to guard top secret, Fowles and Rolls-Royce, each playing essential manufacturing equipment used by our armed forces. They make some of our most advanced weaponry and are trusted to guard top secret designs for our most sensitive assets and facilities. Yet collectively, they employ hundreds of Chinese communists who have pledged to serve the party above all else. Other vital firms such as Pfizer, they're involved with the vaccine. The very people who released it. AstraZeneca, GlaxoSmithKline. Fucking hell, employs hundreds of Communist Party members, giving them access to networks, designs and supply chains. They're the people who released the fucking virus, and they're involved with Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and the biggest of all, GlaxoSmithKline. You couldn't make it up. What's happened to Steve then? What was Tracy on about the other day? And do you lot know? I don't know Steve. Does Tracy know? I mean, I don't know who Steve is. Right, and then there is the matter of academics in the UK, some of whom are studying among the most sensitive subjects at our universities. There you go, the academics. In recent years, we've come to understand that China is systematically targeting and stealing academic technology. In September, our government barred Chinese military scientists from sensitive research. Now we know why. Most troubling of all is the discovery that this scourge extends to our own Foreign Office. Yeah, well, I mean, when does Steve ever come out? I've never known Steve come out. Does Steve go down to Westminster? Even the most... Do I know Steve? Have I met Steve down at Westminster? That's the point I was trying to say. Among the most useful potential assets by foreign intelligence services, even the most adenine pieces of information can have implications for national security. So the Foreign Office will need to explain to the public and to Parliament how it is that we employed lifelong members of the Chinese Communist Party in one of the most sensitive facilities in the UK diplomatic network, the consulate in Shanghai. An urgent investigation must now take place into exactly what sort of access this individual and other Communist Party members have had. I believe oh, well, send the video to me, will you? What, is that at Trafalgar Square when Busker got chased out of Trafalgar Square? Oh, you've got to send the video to me, I've got to see it. Right, I believe the government must now move to expel and remove any members of the Communist Party from our consulates in China. They can serve the UK or they can serve the CCP. They cannot do both. There is a common theme of naivety running through our companies, universities and government officials. Yeah, well, we used to have all this under the Soviet Union when I was a kid. Even before I was born, in the 50s. We have failed to recognise that at the core of China's system is a system of ideas and values that not only runs contrary to ours, but seeks to overcome it. The interests of the Communist Party come first. It is not that China has sought to hide this reality, but we in the free world have been prepared to turn a blind eye to it for so long. Small wonder then that Xi Jinping states openly that China will have the world's most powerful military forces in the world by 2049. There you go, by 2050 say, yeah? That's 30 years from now. The question today is this: to what degree have our institutions and big business been helping him achieve his goal? Okay, now. Right, let's... So here we go again. Why has the UK handed the world's most powerful weapons? Oh my God, you won't believe this. This is just... Yeah, we want the video. Right, well, we don't care what Steve reckons. Right, now this computer, right, it looks like they gave the Chinese access to this computer, and it is absolutely disgraceful. Right, why has the UK handed the world's new most powerful weapon to China? The ultra-cold quantum matter research at Oxford that could create unhackable communications and radar to find submarines is shared with Chinese military university. The laboratory at Oxford has nurtured crucial link with Chinese military university. Oxford! Didn't they want to take down Cecil Rhodes? Haven't they got... Did you see them all marching through Oxford, all quietly and all very lefty and very middle classy? You know, trying to challenge Bristol as the most left-wing city or whatever in the country, or is it a town, Oxford? A laboratory at Oxford has nurtured crucial link with Chinese military university. To the horror of our politicians and security service, we passed on knowledge. It's classic example of China subtly exploiting. It's not naivety, it's treason of Western democracies. They call it ultra-cold quantum technology. You ever heard of that, Jesus? Oh, you want to see this computer, mate? It's like nothing else as you've ever seen. And it will change the world. It's a mind-boggling new field of science that is at once hugely exciting and, as we shall see, utterly alarming. It will change everything we know about computing and ultimately render all devices currently in use obsolete. Chemical Liquor's silence is deafening. He has no idea about it. Never mind about that. Do you know about the quantum, ultra-cold quantum technology, Jesus? And stop Googling it up while you're killing time there. As well as myriad practical applications that will change our lives, it is likely to transform warfare with unhackable communications, precision weapons guidance systems and radar so sensitive it will detect both enemy stealth bombers and distant submarines. Bill Phillips, Nobel Prize winning physicist, puts it, a quantum, here it is, he's got it there. And they've let they've let him there, look, here he is, look at him smiling his head up, that old fucking tiddlywink there, look at the old tiddlywink. As Bill Phillips, Nobel Prize winning physicist, puts it, a quantum computer is different from a classical computer, as a classical computer is from an abacus. It's why any nation that possesses its secrets would be insane to share it with a potential foe, especially one that is hell-bent on dominating the globe and has the resources to do it. It doesn't have the resources, for fuck's sake. They're landlocked. 5 years, I'm not going to have Steve Bannon rating them up too much. For 5 years, a young Chinese national called Dong Yang Zhu, pictured Leo to his Western friends, enjoyed unrivaled access to the lab's most sensitive projects as a postgraduate student, and then one day last April, he disappeared. And yet, that is precisely what Britain has done. Despite pumping $1 billion to the technological... Oh, they didn't want to be seen to be racist, I suppose, so they had to leave him there. Despite pumping $1 billion to the technological quantum drive since 2013, to the horror of our politicians and security services, we have handed our world-beating advances into the technology to China via our great seats of learning. A laboratory at Oxford University, part funded by the MOD via a top-secret institution based at Porton Down, has nurtured a crucial link with a Chinese military university and passed on our knowledge. Oh my God. So this is why you've got to bring the death penalty back for treason. Guess who got rid of it? A Prime Minister that committed treason. His name was Tony Blair. It needs to come back. Yeah. Beijing helped fund the ultra-cold quantum matter lab through a university controlled by the Communist Party and the People's Liberation Army. That college, the National University of Defence Technology in the city of Changzhou, happens to be the main training provider for China's spies. Yeah, Tony Blair. Yet for 5 years, Oxford trained and nurtured a Chinese doctor student who had graduated from another military university and was being funded by the NUDT, National University of Defence Technology. He enjoyed access to the lab's most advanced projects and organised 2 workshops in Oxford, where his colleagues from China were briefed on the latest progress in the highly sensitive field of physics. It's a classic example of how China has for years subtly exploited the naivety of Western democracies to gain influence and to steal and spy on our technology. Oxford sources insist their lab's work was peaceful. Oh, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? But senior Whitehall sources were deeply concerned because advances in quantum technology will always have a dual use and be just as valuable to the military. Now the Daily Mail has learned Oxford links with the NUDT and China's military has been severed, following an intervention at the highest level by security officials horrified at the damage that may have been done. This week the case was discussed by ministers. Fucking hell. What's going on here? You lot got the picture? Hey, Liv. Hey, Liv, it's gone down. Hey, Liv. Hey, Liv. The video's gone down. Hey, Liv. The video's gone down. On my phone. Ah, it's back up. Oh, right. Yeah, I can. I'd lost it on my telephone. Right, so what we got here, right? Do you want me to read it all to you? Quantum computers are, oh God, I can't hardly read it. Digital computers work on hit switches that can be on or off one thing or another and can only do one thing at a time. Software computers based on the binary system, their speed and scope is limited. Quantum computers use qubits, components that exploit the mysterious science of quantum mechanics, which means they can do many things simultaneously. Their power and speed are almost unimaginably faster, like the difference between an abacus and a supercomputer. Right. Right, it's really unbelievable. What is ultra-cold quantum technology? A new industrial revolution that will transform everything from computing to warfare, harnessing the incredible properties of quantum mechanics to create devices of unimaginable power and sensitivity. What does it mean for missiles? A quantum guidance system could fly a missile with unprecedented accuracy and with no need to use GPS, rendering it unhackable. Quantum mechanics could also help to detect missiles thousands of miles away and destroy it. Bloody hell. Quantum radar and sensors could detect submarines at depths from vast distances by detecting disturbances to the Earth's gravitational field. In 2017, China deployed a quantum submarine detector based on an array of sensors known as SQUIDs, superconducting quantum interference device. Fucking hell. Meanwhile, visa rules for students and academics hoping to work in such sensitive areas have been quietly changed so that a repeat of this fare should be impossible. Little wonder Sir Richard Dearlove, the former MI6 chief, is furious. He told the Mail the naivety of universities in sharing research as military applications with China is stunning. It's not. They've done it on purpose. They're lefties. We are only just starting to realise the Chinese have an interest in areas that will benefit their strategic future. We shouldn't even have the students over here, mate. We're in a Cold War. And although steps are now being taken to get this under control, it's rather late in the day. Only now is the establishment waking up to the threat. Quantum technology is a pop star darling of modern physics. Professor Brian Cox says quantum computers could give the human mind immortality by reproducing it. Stephen Fry says it could change the world as much as fire or electricity. In a nutshell, today's devices rely on binary computing, lots of O's and ones crunched through data to provide phone signals, TV images and operate PCs. It's a fast process, but quantum computers don't need the O's and ones. Scientists found out if you cool certain elements to a few hundred billionth of a degree above absolute zero, minus 273.15 Celsius, they can form the basis of a new, unimaginable, faster computer. The main ingredients are known as qubits, can perform multiple tasks simultaneously. They rip through the most complex calculations at lightning speed. Linking thousands of qubits together in a quantum computer creates something incredible. Right. Prototype. What do you think about this, Carrie? You ever heard anything like this? Charles Linton. Oh, that's his middle name's Welsh Woody. He got nicked, didn't he, down at Bow Street Magistrates Court? And he gave his middle names as Charles Linton. He was caught in the toilets, wasn't he, exposing himself? So, right, prototype quantum computers have been built by firms such as Google, but they are vast, with every component requiring a refrigerator the size of a wardrobe. The Oxford lab is beginning to imagine small and portable quantum devices instead of occupying a football field. The quantum computer may need to be no bigger than a beer glass, changing everything, and this is where China has seized its chance. Oxford University's sky level is high, explaining why China's National University of Defence Technology and so by extension the People's Liberation Army were so keen to develop a partnership. Stepped forward a young Chinese national called Dongyang Zhu, Leo to his Western friends. For 5 years he enjoyed unrivalled access to the big lab's most sensitive projects as a postgraduate student, and then one day last April he disappeared. Zhu had attended another university which conducts research for China's military, Hunan, and NUDT paid for his studies in Britain. He entered Britain in 2012. Before Oxford, he studied at two UK centres of excellence in high-tech engineering, Lancaster and Cambridge. It was Zhu who hosted two Oxford workshops for the NUDT. In 2016 and 18, when he gave his Chinese colleagues tours of the lab, they were welcomed with open arms by the university. Okay, yeah. Right, okay. I've got a message, have I? Let's have a look at it. Was it a text message? Oh, hold on. How are you? I'm alright.
say, it didn't do you any favours, did it? You should have had that website. You should have had that website. What website? Ain't nice. You mean Telegram? It's turned down. Yes, no, you got the whole purpose is to make them look close. I'm not idiots. They look like bacon. That's what I'm going to say. No, I got kicked out after that because I said, what they said was fine. It's just that the concept of if you listen to what they say, you're going to put in words and they say, but where it came from, I don't like the origin. During the script, we like, there's no problem. That's it. The fact is, those are in words come from the KKK. We only got it. So we had to go off like that. We might want it on that. I'm just going there now. I'll see you on there. And it won't be just.
Tiny Shrew Patrick. This is when Busker got chased, wasn't it?
Why do you never let me on your live streams, mate? What you want it? Why is that? What you want it? Because you know that I bang you to rights. No, I'm banging to rights. You're not even Jewish. It's a vast Jewish community. You're not Jewish. What Jewish community? I'm asking what Jewish community. Get out of my face. Get out of my space then. Don't come to me and start with me. Listen. You're a fucking sorry. No, you don't tell me to go. I'm telling you to go. It's extensive, look. That's fine. Now go. About 12 and then one person, look. No.
Grassing them up again, Busker, are you? The National Front. Fucking hell.
I'm going nowhere. I'm going nowhere. We've got up to say, if you get beaten up, then it's down to you, mate, alright? Yeah, go on then.
Well, that's down Whitehall. You know where that is. He's walking towards Parliament Square on that one. Busker got a mask on there. What a fucking vile creature he's saying that to me. Yeah, the bus was going to the old bill now.
He's going to a living for a suit, yeah. He's going to a living for a suit, but he wants to a living for a suit, but grass. You fucking started, you fucking snapped in there. You did fucking start. 10 people out in the few years. The job do was you know, counted.
Buster's got a mask on there, hasn't he? Fucking hell, I've seen enough of this. Was he going down to Downing Street to get him nicked? Right, okay. Alright, I'll get all that. Fucking hell. Oh, that's Steve Wilde. That's not Steve who comes in our room, is it? No. Fucking hell. That's not Steve who comes in our room. No, that's not Steve. He's an old yellow jacket, that bloke. That's definitely not Steve. Maybe it's I don't know his name. I've seen him. I know him to say hello to. That's it. Right, so there's obviously two Steves. Tracy was probably thinking that's the Steve they was talking about. It's not the Steve that comes in our room, though, is it? No, that's not Steve. No, it's definitely not him. Busker was really giving it the big one, wasn't he? Because that geezer, he hates Busker. Him and Busker hate each other. If he laid a finger on Busker, he'd get him nicked. I'm definitely 100%. So he was stuck in a lose-lose situation there. Right, where are we? Yeah, Britain is right. Right, in April, Dong Young Zhu, by now armed with an Oxford doctorate, returned to China, and in September the Foreign Office rules governing foreign students and academics were quietly changed to prevent a repeat. Former Tory leader Sir Ian Duncan Smith called the affair a cocktail of naivety and incompetence. He said, "What was Oxford thinking? And what the hell were MI6 and the security service doing to let this happen? Were they simply asleep on the job? No, because they're all fucking Marxists. They're all fucking cultural Marxists at Oxford, and MI6 and MI5 are totally fucking compromised. That's why Sir Mark Sedwell fucking let all the immigrants in." Right. It's further evidence of the extent to which China has penetrated Britain's elite institutions to get the very best of what they want. Sam Armstrong of the foreign policy think tank, the Henry Jackson Society, said stopping Chinese military-linked scientists acquiring sensitive academic technology is rightly a top priority for the government, but the fact that the Chinese Army's elite research facility has been co-sponsoring the technology that will dominate the future of war for decades shows how far we have to go. Currently, Sino-British relations are in a tailspin. China's abuse of human rights in Hong Kong, the furore over telecommunications giants Huawei, rolling the UK's proposed 5G network, the Beijing's increasingly insular approach to the international community have transformed the picture. The West's fury over the genesis of the coronavirus has hardly helped. Oh, it's only hardly helped. Fucking hell. Hello, Lodge. How did you find it? Well done, mate. You done well. For China now, the word friendship refers less to a personal bond and more to a strategic relationship on behalf of the party. Xi Jinping made it clear 5 years ago that China's holy grail was the acquisition of quantum technology. He called it a vital strategic goal. He has also said that he wants China to be the world's strongest military power by 2049. Last December, US technology analyst Strider, whose board includes the FBI's ex-head of Lodge, Bill Barr's basically been sacked or he's walked. I don't think he'll be coming back to work next Monday. Friday will probably be his last day. He'll be packing his bags over the weekend. Is 3 states. Pennsylvania, it seems, voted Trump with their state legislators. Georgia voted for Trump in their state legislator. Who else was there? Michigan state legislators tried to vote for Trump. And the Democrats surrounded the building with police, heavily armed, and wouldn't let them in their government building. You've never seen anything like it. So we had Nevada, Georgia, and Pennsylvania all voting for Trump, which means it's going to cause a massive mix-up later on, around about the 6th of January. And Michigan refused to let the state legislature in the building to do that. They actually kept them out. So Trump's already warned them, if you certify these states, you will be breaking the law and you will be committing a criminal offence. So, and, you know, see what happens. See if they got the bottle to do it. So it's massive shit been going on. Right. Last December, US technology analyst Strider, whose board includes the FBI's ex-head of counter-espionage and a former assistant director of the CIA, sounded the red alert on China's ambitions. Its Quantum Dragon report warned China's advances in quantum technologies stem from a multi-decade strategy to exploit Western research institutes. This strategy includes sending Chinese scientists to top quantum research labs around the world for training and funding schemes to support the development of China's quantum research programs. Its author, Greg Levesque, said China is systematically placing and recruiting scientists in research institutions around the world to acquire intellectual property and know-how to advance military capabilities. Dual-use technologies like quantum are especially in the crosshairs, and the Zhu case at Oxford fits the pattern. The Australian Strategic Policy Institute think tank rates the NUDT as very high risk, pointing out that it is the People's Liberation Army's premier institution for scientific research. NUDT is a key training centre for Chinese spies and developed the world's fastest digital supercomputer in 2013. ASPI says that for more than a decade, NUDT has aggressively leveraged overseas expertise and resources to build its capabilities. It also sponsored espionage in 2019. The Chinese defector Wang Liqing said the university's intelligence centre had given him fake papers so he could spy on Taiwan. ASPI also rates Zhu's first university, Hunan, as very high risk as its research projects for the PLA include nuclear weapons. Oxford Ultra Cold Lab broadened its relationship with NUDT in 2016, the year after Zhu arrived, when it held the first of two joint workshops discussing sensitive work. Professor Christopher Foote, who leads the lab, organised a drinks party at the second workshop in 2018, and was pictured beaming, surrounded by his Chinese colleagues. There were talks on the latest research into quantum sensors and computing. Fucking hell. A laboratory at Oxford University, part funded by the MOD via the top secret institution based at Porton Down, has nurtured a crucial link with a Chinese military university and passed on our knowledge. Pictured Oxford University. You couldn't make it up. Afterwards, the Oxford lab issued a tweet. A great end to the NUDT workshop on quantum technologies. Thanks to all our guests and speakers for joining us. See you next year in Changsha. If awareness of the Chinese threat had not penetrated Oxford, the Pentagon was worried. It warned China is actively pursuing an intensive campaign to obtain foreign technology through imports, foreign direct investment, industrial and cyber espionage, and the establishment of foreign research and development centres. Fucking hell. Finally, at the end of last year, the government took action. Whitehall sources say representations were made to Oxford's top leadership insisting the relationship between the Quantum Lab and NUDT must cease. Almost immediately, it was terminated. There was no public announcement, but the logo proclaiming NUDT sponsorship vanished from the lab's website. But fucking hell, you couldn't make this up. But Dr. Zhu was allowed to complete his PhD and his Viva oral exam, then left the country. The lab issued another tweet. Well done to Dongyang Liu Zhu, who passed his Viva last week. We'll miss the cake and cheese break. Safe journey back to China and best of luck in your new job. Fucking hell. This is a joke. I'll tell you what, mate. These people need to be charged for treason. Fucking cheese and fucking cake. I'd give them fucking bread and water, mate, and hard labour. Yeah, you'd have a fucking lot of bread and water, mate, and hard labour if I had my way. Never mind about chow mein. Fucking hell. The tweet revealed that it had been working on in Oxford a very nice thesis detailing our SR oven and MOT. In other words, the very technology critical to portable quantum computing. Last night, Professor Foote declined to comment. Professor Foote needs to be put against the wall and shot. Fucking shot, mate. Right against the fucking wall of Oxford. An Oxford spokesman said Oxford University places the highest priority on the security of its academic work and resisting any inappropriate attempts to interfere with it or repurpose it. We work closely with the MOD on protecting our work in fields relevant to the national interest. Our risk management processes are reviewed regularly and we will always update these systems in the light of government guidance. Fucking wankers. One of the most fucking sophisticated computers you could ever get. They've just given it away. The government spokesman said the security and integrity of our universities and research institutions is essential. We have toughened visa rules to ensure any postgraduate... Stop them fucking coming over here! We've toughened visa rules to ensure any postgraduate students applying to study in the UK or conduct research into aircraft, cyber and other advanced military technologies will face stronger checks. We have robust procedures to protect sensitive research where we are co-sponsors and work with the sector to identify and prevent any risk of interference. If they can't go to these places, those lefties will take and deliver it to him on little fucking computer dots, wouldn't they? Little dots. They give it to him. They go and find him and give it to him. Because they're leftists, they're cultural Marxists. Whitehall sources said there were still ongoing concerns regarding research with dual civilian and military use, such as quantum technology, and over Chinese students and academics trying to acquire knowledge for the Chinese state. Kick them out! And what Dr. Zhu this week, the Mail managed to get his email address, and in a short exchange he confirmed he is in mainland China. But when asked what he was doing and how he was using his knowledge he had acquired in Oxford, he clammed up. Whatever plans the motherland had for him, he wasn't going to say. Fucking hell. Right, here we go. So we've done that. Right, here we go. Leak files. Right, we've got this here. This gets worse, mate. It don't get any better, I can tell you. It don't get any better. This is the Mail Online. Leaked files expose mass infiltration of UK firms by Chinese Communist Party, including AstraZeneca, Rolls-Royce, HSBC and Jaguar Land Rover. Loyal members of the Chinese Communist Party are working in British consulates, universities and for some of the UK's leading companies, the Mail on Sunday can reveal. Leaked database of 1.95 million registered party members reveals how Beijing's malign influence now stretches into almost every corner of British life, including defence firms. Yeah, you know that's Lord fucking Arbuthnot, don't you? Banks and pharmaceutical giants. Some members who swear oath to guard party secrets, be loyal to the party, work hard, fight for communism throughout my life, and never betray the party, understood to have jobs in British consulates. Loyal members of the Chinese Communist Party are working in British consulates, universities, and for some of the UK's leading companies, the Mail on Sunday can reveal. An extraordinary leaked database of 1.95 million registered party members reveals how Beijing's malign influence now stretches into almost every corner of British life, including the defence firms, banks and pharmaceutical giants. Most alarmingly, some of its members who swear a solemn oath to guard party secrets, be loyal to the party, work hard, fight for communism throughout my life and never betray the party are understood to have secured jobs in British consulates. I'm repeating myself. Among them is a senior official at the British consulate in Shanghai. Its headquarters is also home to intelligence officers from the UK security services. The official describes their role as supporting ministers and officials on visits to East China. Is it buffering? Right. How bad is it buffering? Right. Is it still buffering? What's this I've got behind it? Let's get this picture out. What have we got here? Oh, fucking hell. Hey, Lev. Hey, Lev. Come here. Look, I've got it's buffering. I think I've got this video in the background. It's fucking it up. It's this video going on in the background.
What video?
In the background.
Oh, whoops. Just ignore it.
No, it's buffering. It's making it buffering. They're all saying it's buffering.
You can't stop it. It's a stupid, dumb advert.
Right.
Unless you've done something.
No, I ain't done anything.
I'll refresh it.
Right. Right, thank you. Is that better now? The AstraZeneca. The database was originally leaked on Telegram, the encrypted instant messaging app, and passed in September by a Chinese dissident to the You know what? Fucking thing. Right. By a Chinese dissident to the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China, which comprises more than 150 legislators around the world who are concerned by the influence and activities of the Chinese government. Detailed analysis by MOS of the material reveals that pharmaceutical giants Pfizer and AstraZeneca, both involved in the development of the coronavirus vaccines, employed a total of 123 party loyalists. The analysis also revealed that there was more than 600 party members across 19 branches working at the British banks, HSBC and Standard Chartered in 2016. Both have drawn criticism for their response to Beijing's crackdown in Hong Kong. Rolls-Royce. Firms of defence industry interests, including Airbus, Boeing and Rolls-Royce, employed hundreds of party members, the analysis showed. While there is no evidence that anyone on the party membership list has spied for China, and many sign up simply to boost their career prospects, experts say it defies the credulity that some are not involved in espionage. Responding to the findings, an alliance of 30 MPs last night said they would be tabling an urgent question about the issue in the Commons. Writing in the Mail on Sunday today, Tory leader Ian Duncan Smith says this investigation proves that members of the Chinese Communist Party are now spread around the globe, with members working for some of the world's most important multinational corporations, academic institutions and our own diplomatic services. The government must now move to expel and remove any members of the Communist Party from our consuls throughout China. They can either serve the UK or the Chinese Communist Party. They cannot do both. What do you mean the controls? You need to write down the controls, Jamie. What controls? Right. The Foreign Office last night insisted that it has robust procedure. The Foreign Office last night insisted that it has a robust procedure in place to keep information secure and to vet staff at our overseas posts. It is understood they are aware that they employ party members. However, a senior Whitehall intelligence source said the revelations did raise security questions. In that station, the official will be sat one floor away from the MI6 team and could have identified intelligence officers. The database was originally leaked on Telegram, the encrypted instant messaging app, and passed in September by Chinese dissidents of the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China, which comprises more than 150 legislators around the world who are concerned by the influence and activities of the Chinese government. Dating from 2016 includes the names of party members in Shanghai, the largest city in China and its financial hub. The list is divided into more than 79,000 branches, many of them affiliated to individual companies or organisations. In total, the Chinese Communist Party has more than 92 million members, but competition to join is fierce, with fewer than 1 in 10 applicants successful. After authenticating the material with the help of data security analysts, Internet 2.0 IPAC passed the database to 4 media organisations around the world, including the Mail on Sunday. Detailed analysis of it by this newspaper reveals that a party member who studied at St Andrews University worked at various consulates in Shanghai, including that of the UK. Chinese academics who swore the oath to assist the party attended British universities where they were involved in potentially sensitive areas of research, including aerospace engineering and chemistry. There were more than 600 party members across 19 branches working at the British banks, HSBC and Standard Chartered in 2016. Both have drawn criticism for their response to Beijing's crackdown in Hong Kong. The pharmaceutical giant Pfizer and AstraZeneca, both involved in the development of the coronavirus vaccines, employed a total of 123 party loyalists. Firms with defence industry interests, including Airbus, Boeing and Rolls-Royce, employed hundreds of party members. Alexion Pharmaceuticals for 39 billion, eh, Welsh Woody? Right, the computer controls instead of calling Alif. Right, okay. It's all right for you to say that. Security sort. What happens is once I let her do it, I'm absolutely just fucking ruin myself because she does it all quick and all rush. And I don't know what she's doing. And then she's done it, and I'm none the better off. I'm probably better off working it out myself. But I've done it now, haven't I? Security sources believe the initial data leak came from a dissident who targeted an outwardly unremarkable office block in Shanghai, which housed the records. Despite the near certainty of being executed for treason, if caught, he or she probably accessed it via a server before downloading it onto a laptop and releasing it on Telegram, where it was found by IPAC. Oh. Right, so here he is, look. What a fucking two-bob geezer. In total, the Chinese Communist Party has more than 92 million members. 92 million members, but competition to join is fierce with fewer than 1 in 10 applicants successful, above President Xi Jinping of China. As well as the names of members, the database has placed... Oh, they've done the fucking... Oh, brilliant. As well as the names of members, the database has places, dates of birth, Chinese ethnicity, and in some cases, addresses and telephone numbers. A consulate official is registered in a Communist Party branch within a company called the Shanghai Foreign Agency Service Corporation, a state-owned employment agency. It employs almost 2,000 people, and its website says it provides comprehensive and high-quality services to more than 100 foreign organisations in Shanghai, including foreign consulates, foreign news media, and foreign schools. Analysis of the data shows at least 249 Communist Party members were registered with the agency in 2016. Academics in the membership list include some living and working in the UK. They include a research fellow in aerospace engineering at a leading university who also works for a private company. Aerospace engineering is designated by the British government as among the 7 most militarily sensitive university subjects. Students from countries that are not in the EU or the Five Eyes network of Britain, the US, Canada, Australia and New Zealand are required to have an Academic Technology Approval Scheme, ATAS, certificate. Oh, we've read that about the oath, haven't we? Right, during the application process, they are asked to declare any state-linked funding, although some security experts fear the vetting process is not stringent enough. The research fellow did not respond to a request for comment last night. The US security services have been increasingly concerned about the threat of Chinese espionage on campuses. I mean, it's not hard to notice them, is it? Fucking hell, they all look Chinese. In the 9th months to September, 14 Chinese nationals were charged over alleged spying offences It's right. What are you lot on about? Right. In the 9 months of September, 14 Chinese nationals were charged over alleged spying offences, and the Trump administration last week changed its visa rules so members of the Chinese Communist Party and their families can stay or get travel documents for only a month. Last week, John Ratcliffe, there we go, John Ratcliffe, Director of National Security. He is, Director of National DNI. Director of National Intelligence, not Security. He's the DNI, not the DNS. Warned that Chinese posed the greatest threat to democracy and freedom since the Second World War and was striving to dominate the planet economically, militarily, and technologically. Now, do you think that man is going to turn around and say that America, that China, the foreign interference of the general election? That's John Ratcliffe. He's not Director of National Security. He's the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, not DNS. Australia revoked the visas of 2 professors from China in September amid suspicions they were involved in espionage. One of the men appears on the leaked membership list. The database also reveals that party members work for many British and international companies in China, several involved in the defence of pharmaceutical industries. See you later, Jesus. Rolls-Royce being Boeing, Airbus and the French defence contractor, Fowles, Lord Arbuthnot again, each have dozens of party members, or more on their books. While the British banking giants, HSBC and Standard Chartered, both have hundreds. Jaguar Land Rover was another company with staff who were members of the party. You know what? Julian Assange, right? Julian Assange, and he released loads of stuff on Fowles, right? And Emma Arbuthnot's husband, Lord Arbuthnot, but they're still there, these people. Here he is. Last week, John Ratcliffe above, US Director of National Security. It's National Intelligence. Warned that China posed the greatest threat to democracy and freedom since the Second World War and was striving to dominate the planet economically, militarily, and technologically. Costco. Oh, my God. I'll go to Costco, don't I? A major Chinese shipping firm even has 2 branches in the UK for its 7 members. 3 are based at the port of Felixstowe, Suffolk, which receives almost half of Britain's container trade. In total, the list of 2016 reveals 2,909 members working for Costco. No, it's Costco, where I go across 118 branches worldwide. None of the companies above said they banned members of the Chinese Communist Party from being employees. Fucking hell. There is no evidence that any of the firms named above have been targeted or fallen victims to an espionage, and each insists it has measures in place to protect data, staff and customers. Reacting to the findings, former Foreign Office diplomat and China expert Matthew Henderson said, "This is yet further proof of how China is inveigled its way into the British establishment. Inveigled. We are dancing with rabid wolves, intent on driving a wedge between Britain and America. Yeah, overthrowing democracy and outstripping the West." Do people realise that? This is what's going on. They're trying to put a wedge. Our television's telling us that Trump's a dictator and Trump's this and Trump's that. They're trying to put a wedge between us and America. Overthrowing democracy and outstripping the West. Sam Armstrong from the Henry Jackson Society foreign policy think tank said this is a deeply disturbing illustration of China's spread across the globe, which we can't look away from and must tackle head on. And a former former CIA and White House intelligence analyst who specialises in East Asia affairs said this is what the Chinese Communist Party is, and you can't trust them. They're always looking for opportunities because they're opportunistic, where they can take advantage of relationships, friendships, whatever, to further the interests of the Communist Party. However, Robert Barnett, an affiliate of Lu China Institute at King's College London and at London School of Oriental and African Studies, said it's not likely that many members in China actually believe in or care about communism, so it's largely a nation-building project, not an ideological one. That's just one of the many reasons that a McCarthyist catch-all approach doesn't make sense, even apart from the fact that it would be a gross abuse of people's human rights. Well, yeah, he has to pardon Assange. Have you ever had a look at Assange when he was younger? And just have a look at him, right? And you will see he looks like Donald Trump. I think they're related. Closely related and all. That's just one of many reasons that McCarthy's catch-all approach doesn't make sense, even apart from the fact that it would be a gross abuse of people's human rights. Last night, a Chinese embassy spokeswoman said, "We urge the media to abandon ideological bias and Cold War mentality and view China, the Communist Party of China, and China's development in a rational and impartial manner." Fucking hell. Yeah, go on, fuck off. Handcuffed, bound in chains. A media mogul who defied tyranny. Handcuffed, bound in chains and flanked by police officers, businessman Jimmy Lai is led to a court to face charges of colluding with foreign powers. Oh, he's going to have his organs harvested. The pro-democracy media mogul, one of the few business leaders in Hong Kong to speak out against the draconian new national security laws, was denied bail yesterday over allegations he had asked foreign countries to impose sanctions. Mr. Lai, 73, owner of the pro-democracy tabloid Apple Daily and founder of Next Digital Media, has repeatedly called for international action over the erosion of liberties in Hong Kong. Fucking hell, they got him all right, haven't they? Crackdown, pro-democracy businessman Jimmy Lai, chained around his waist and wrists to a guard, is marched to court yesterday. The charges reportedly relate to tweets he posted. Yes, right, they were infiltrating everywhere. But we had globalists leading our countries. We still probably got one. The charges reportedly relate to tweets he posted, including one in May asking Donald Trump to impose sanctions on China and his decision to launch an English language edition of Apple Daily. Hong Kong politician Ted Hui, who lives in Britain after being forced into exile, told Radio 4's Today programme, "I feel extremely heavy watching my friends go to jail. Perhaps for life. Freedom of speech is totally collapsed in Hong Kong, and it's extremely alarming to the world." Mr. Lai's arrest is the latest in a crackdown on Hong Kong's pro-democracy movements since the sweeping national security laws passed this summer by Beijing, which allows Chinese security forces to operate there. Last week, activists Joshua Wong, Agnes Chow, and Ivan Lam were jailed for taking part in an unauthorised protest last year. Teenage activist Tommy Chung was also convicted last week for desecrating the Chinese flag, and at least 16 other activists were arrested. The devotee who works just yards from MI6 spies, outwardly at least a British consulate in Shanghai at 17F Garden Square, appears wholly unremarkable. There is little to distinguish it from the other high-rise buildings that crowd the city's historic Riverside district. What goes on inside, however, is quite a different matter. One consular official identified in the leaked database is said by security sources to work near to a team of MI6 officers operating under diplomatic cover. Intriguingly, and some critics of the China's regime may think worrying too, the official is apparently on the floor below, or as one security source put it, down a staircase. There is no evidence that anything untoward has taken place, but the simple fact that a Chinese Communist Party member is working in close proximity to intelligence officers has in itself given rise to concern that the UK is playing with fire. Right, long known as a city of intrigue, Shanghai was fabled in the 1930s as the Paris of the East, China's most modern metropolis, a haven for gangsters and intellectuals, colonials and radicals, and the new rich and the ultra-poor. Communist revolution changed all that, and the city's famous vitality was largely stamped out. Even in the late 80s, when other parts of China were modernising fast, Shanghai lagged behind. Now its appearance is positively futuristic. The skyscrapers in the gleaming financial district, Pudong, for instance, dwarf the old colonial waterfront across the Huangpu River. One senior Whitehall security source claimed in that station the official will be sat one floor away from the security services team. In theory, anybody walking past where the official works and up the staircase could be identified as an intelligence officer, and that information passed back to the Communist Party. Duncan Smith. Right. With hopeless naivety, big business and universities have failed to understand that China is out to destroy our way of life. By Ian Duncan Smith for the Mail on Sunday. Joining the ranks of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is quite unlike signing up for the political party here or in other democracy. It might seem closer to joining a crime family in the New York Mafia. Members have to swear overriding loyalty to the one party that has ruled in China since the 1940s. They must pledge to guard party secrets, to fight for communism throughout my life, and to be ready at all times to sacrifice my all for the party. The oath is for life and sworn in the presence of party officials. Swift, harsh punishment would result should they ever dare to break it. Belong to the party is no mere formality. The CCP demands secrecy, cunning, utterly ruthless discipline from its millions of members. Notoriously secretive, its authority is absolute. They all look happy, don't they? Joining the ranks of the Chinese Communist Party is quite unlike signing up for a political party here or in any other democracy. It might seem closer to joining a crime family in the New York Mafia. Members have to swear overriding loyalty to the one party that has ruled in China since the 1940s. Members are routinely schooled in the beliefs, tenets, principles of Chinese communist thought. Democracy and freedom are such existential threats, for example, that violence and oppression are necessary to quash them. Western nations such as the UK are locked in mortal conflict with China and must be defeated. It is a party whose beliefs about religious minorities remind us of the racist policies of the worst dictators of the 20th century. The CCP sees nothing wrong with rounding up. I've read all this. Oh, I've read it all. This is what Duncan Smith says. That's the boot on his boat. Yeah, I've read all this. There we go, it's all done. Right, let's go. Sydney Powell. Right, oh, this is the Epoch Times. So I haven't read. Lawyer Sydney Powell asserted that due to alleged foreign interference in the November the 3rd election, it's more than sufficient to trigger President Donald Trump's executive order on foreign interference issued in 2018. In September 2018, sorry about that, Trump signed DNI in consultation with the heads of any other appropriate executive departments and agencies in brackets, shall conduct an assessment of any information indicating that a foreign government or any person acting as an agent of or on behalf of a foreign government has acted with the intent of purpose of interfering in that election according to the text of the order. Well, we're nearly done now. We're nearly done, Welsh Woody. You've done well sticking it out, mate. But this is what I've been talking about for ages. Sydney Powell's mentioned it, that the Director of National Intelligence, John... Fucking hell, what's his name again? John... let's get him up. Come on. Oh, we're all tired now. Right, where have I gone too far down? According to the text, Powell told the Epoch Times, John Ratcliffe, that's his name, John Ratcliffe, that's it? Yeah, you got, no, Rat, R-I-T, R-A-T, C-L-I-F-F-E. It's Ratcliffe. T for T. Powell told the Epoch Times she believes that due to that executive order, it can give Trump all kinds of power. I will tell you what the power it can do. He can override any Supreme Court judge or any Supreme Court decision, even if all 9 of them made it. He can even overthrow the general election and say, no, it's had foreign interference, so it's null and void. I'm president. So that's the sort of power. So, you know, there it goes. Powell told the Epoch Times she believes that due to the executive order, it can give Trump all kinds of power. And I'm going to have to stop again, right, because Sydney Powell is a military judge. And as a military judge, she gets to choose the other military judges because she's in charge. So you know she's not going to choose any compromised judges. And you know that when you get found guilty by a military court for treason, Trump's brought out a law that it's not like it's going to be like hanging or sort of like an execution. You stand against the wall, mate, and you get shot. That's what Trump wants for these people. Right, under the emergency powers, he could even appoint a special prosecutor to look into this, which is exactly what needs to happen. Powell said every voting machine in the country should be impounded right now. There's frankly more than enough criminal probable cause to justify that for anybody who's willing to address the law and the facts purely on the basis of truth and not politics or corporate greed or global wealth. Some of them said they got to wipe the machines clean because they got another election on January the 5th. They actually think they're going to use them fucking computers in January the 5th. They're having a laugh, aren't they? For the past month, some, including Arizona's Maricopa County GOP chairwoman, Linda Brickman, as well as Powell, have alleged that Dominion voting systems machines allowed for votes to be switched from Trump to Democratic candidate Joe Biden. Dominion has pushed back, saying that it's not possible to change votes, while asserting it has no ties to foreign governments and doesn't allow its employees to engage in vote tabulation efforts. Oh, fucking hell. Who do these people think they're? Powell noted that the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, can you see that, Welsh Woody? Ratcliffe has only a few days left until he is to prepare his report to the President. According to the September 2018 executive order, it's not clear when or if Ratcliffe will issue a report, as no public confirmation has been given so far. Little mention has been made of the executive order since it was issued more than 2 years ago. Should Ratcliffe issue his order, it's going to blow the mind of every citizen in the country who is willing to look at the truth and the facts. Powell said, because we've never witnessed anything like this in the history of this country, and it's got to be stopped right now, or there will never be a free and fair election. The order also stipulates that within 45 days of receiving the assessment and information, the heads of the Department of Justice and Homeland Security and any other appropriate agencies shall deliver a report evaluating the US general election. Ooh, within 45 days. That includes the extent to which any foreign interference that targeted election infrastructure materially affected the security or integrity of that infrastructure, the tabulation of votes or the timely transmission of election results, and if any foreign interference involved activities targeting the infrastructure of or pertaining to a political organisation, campaign or candidate, the extent to which such activities materially affected the security or integrity of that infrastructure, including by unauthorised access to disclosure or threatened disclosure of or alteration or falsification of information or data. It says, right, support honest journalism. Oh, right, there you go, that's it. Yeah, of course. Listen, you're doing really well, Woody. Unbelievable. I mean, I'll keep forgetting it all. We can't all keep up with everything here. It's all heavy shit. But you are doing really well. Right, so, Aleph, can you get me back up here? Fucking hell. Aleph, I need the video up. She's fucking crashed out. Video capture device. Aleph! Fucking hell. You know what? I think I might just have to. Can I? She's gone. What we'll have to do. Yeah, you've done well, mate. I mean, at the end of the day, what this tells us all, those that are left here, the lodge and everything. Who else is left here? Chemical Liquor's gone. Are you still here, Welsh blonde girl? I ain't going to put the picture back up. I'm just going to close it down. What it tells us is that when people say, oh my God, Trump's a dictator, you know different. You absolutely know different. There's no two ways about it. And we know that Trump isn't a dictator. And that's basically what the plan's been all along. They know how far their power goes. Their power goes as far as the Supreme Court. They can't get no more powerful than that apart from having the president. But the president has the ability, through this director of national... now I forgot the name of it. Director of National Intelligence, right? To call it, he is a cyber expert. John Ratcliffe is an expert on cybercrime and things like that. So he knows, right? And you know that he's. I mean, George Webb says that Sidney Powell's missed a trick here because the voting machines really was a lot of it was done out in Serbia. And she hasn't mentioned, Serbia's been mentioned once or twice. I think twice it's been mentioned from what I could hear. But it's massively involved in it. And they're always blaming it on Venezuela, but it was Serbia was really deeply involved with Dominion computers. So straight away, George Webb reckons he's got proof that Serbia has foreign interference in this election. I think they sent a load of people over, 51 people, to help in the battleground states, in the specific counties where they really needed to cheat. They were there showing them how to do the computers because they're the real experts on it. So that's something that is real foreign interference. But nevertheless, right, we know that the Chinese Communist Party paid $400 million from UBS, which is a Swiss bank, to Dominion Computers, and they basically own the company now. So that, if that ain't foreign interference, I don't know what is. But we know that this. I mean, he'll find loads of foreign interference, John Ratcliffe. So at that point, Trump has the ability to overrule everything. But you know, there's other people on here, Welshwoody, they're listening. They're not saying nothing, and they're probably leftists. They'll turn around and say, you know what? Trump's a dictator. But he's not a dictator. He's doing, this is constitutionally, and it's within the Constitution, and he's absolutely right to do it. We know it. We know the cheats on. Just because it doesn't say it on the fake news, and the British Prime Minister backs up fucking Joe Biden, sleepy, creepy, corrupt family, mafia family Joe Biden, that assassinates Chinese billionaires on the run that have escaped Chinese Communist Party, and then sends the money, the assets back to China, and then they send him half of it back. He's fucking made billions out of it. I bet he's a billionaire, Joe Biden and his family. You couldn't make it up. Anyway, on that marker, I'm going to leave it. I'm pleased I've done that video, and we've got people in tonight. Thanks for coming in, Woody. Sounds like there's a couple of old other people there who have been a bit quiet. So let's get some sleep, eh? Get some shut eye. Thanks a lot, mate. Come on, let's get this on.